Hey guys, buckle up for another episode of Below the Iceberg, the one and only podcast where we talk to real life 2 Comma Club winners. Whether you're a small business owner, an entrepreneur, a wannabe entrepreneur, or you've been in business for a while, you're sure to pick up tidbits of actionable advice from these $1 million entrepreneurs. Now, if you're new around here and you don't know what a 2 Comma Club winner is, it is where they have built one funnel inside the ClickFunnels software and they've sold $1 million through just that one funnel, which is absolutely amazing. Now, in today's episode, I'm really excited to be talking to Louie Torres, who went from working on flea markets as a child to Wall Street to building 2 multi-million-dollar businesses. So let's dive in and find out all the unexpected things that happened on his path to the coveted $1 million funnel. Welcome, Louie, to Below the Iceberg.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
Awesome. Thanks for taking some time out of your day to chat with me. I am super excited to find out all about your story. And first off, I want to say a massive congratulations for getting a 2 Comma Club.
Thank you.
That is an awesome achievement. Yay. Oh, you got two
of them.
You have two.
I got
awesome.
Two. I got one the beginning of the year, and then I got the other one. I got approved for it like 2 weeks before Funnel Hacking Live.
Oh, did you? That was cool. That is super cool. So I like to look at people's stats, social media stats, before they come on the show. So it shows our listeners what people can achieve with small and big followings. Mm-hmm. So for you, is Instagram your main channel?
No.
Is it not? Because I found most of things about you on Instagram.
Okay. No, I'm old school. I'm very old school with our approach and how we do things. But
so what's your main social media platform?
I think still Facebook. We do really good with our groups. I think that, but as far as like marketing and stuff like that, I think Facebook for sure. The crazy thing is, if you go to our website, we just put that website together like a couple months ago. So we earned both 2 Comma Club awards without a website, which is pretty crazy for most people.
That is, yes. That's awesome. And then because people think the first thing they got to do is build a website.
Right. But that's why I love how you're talking about social first, because I think you have way more influence social than you have on a website, you know, especially now in 2020, 2023. But yeah, I mean, I do a fair amount of Instagram. I haven't really taken advantage of the platform, and I'm just starting to.
All right,
I
okay.
finally hired someone to help me get there and start reaching out on some of those other platforms. But I think Facebook is still kind of where our audience is.
All right, okay. So do you want to tell our listeners exactly what it is you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So I got my first 2 Comma Club award with my marketing agency. Okay, it's called Unleash Consulting. And our niche was in the dog training and pet services space.
All right, okay.
Business number 2 is the dog training business, Obedient Canine, that I co-own here in Charlotte. We have a 5,000 square foot facility, and I've been able to take all of the data and information from learning the industry with the consulting agency, plus all of my previous experience working on Wall Street, working for Fortune 500 companies in New York, and bringing a whole different approach to the space. So now we're about to apply for our 2 Comma Club award for the dog training business.
Oh, wow.
And now I have the kind of like a private equity company where now I'm buying into other businesses and taking a share of it and just kind of putting in our systems and processes.
Awesome. So when you hit the first 2 Comma Club, so when was that? Beginning of this year?
Yeah. Yep.
And what funnel did you use?
We actually did a USB funnel. Let's see if I can actually find it. It was a I think you'd love this. Let me see if I can grab one. So it is here it is. A dog bone USB.
Okay, old school. You said you were going old school.
Old school, like, hey, free, just pay shipping model. And inside of here, they got our like 20 best performing ad copy ads from 2021.
All right. Okay.
PDF, and then it upsells into a course, and then that upsells into like mastermind, and then that's where my sales team would call them and try to close them on, an annual agreement to do their marketing. So our average like lifetime value, probably like 20 grand per client.
All right. Okay. So who was the client for that?
So as far as this, so I have 100 agency clients.
Right. Okay. So who was downloading that USB though? Who were those people?
Dog training business owners.
Dog trainer. Right. Okay. And was that just in the US or was that anywhere in the world?
So we predominantly focus in the US. I did somehow manage to grab a couple from Australia, a couple from Canada, and one from the UK.
All right. Okay.
But
And
predominantly United States.
yeah. Okay. So was it a goal to hit the 2 Comma Club with that?
100%. My goal was to hit the 2 Comma Club years ago when I was in the Cairo space. It just didn't work out. So I first got ClickFunnels, I think like the end of 2017.
All right. Okay.
I've been running funnels for different niches, and so I had like a dozen Cairo clients for a while. That was my agency. Had some dental, started, dabbling. I had a hair salon chain, and I started to work on different niches. And that's when I moved in with my girlfriend. She has this 10-year-old fearful, aggressive Chihuahua. I mean, he's still around. He's not as bad as he was, but like it was so embarrassing. Probably they say like a lot of people build businesses based out of some pain points that they have and they've had to overcome, right? So I have this dog, and like it was embarrassing taking him out. And there was a point where I couldn't even get close to my girlfriend in his like eyesight because he would just start growling at me, and he bit me a couple times.
Really?
It turned into, there's actually a show that's similar to this. It turned into me or the dog. That's what it turned into with my relationship. And so we found an alternative, because there's always an alternative, and we found a professional dog trainer, which at the time I had no idea that professional dog training even existed at this level.
All right. Okay.
Guy comes in, and a few people said your dog's too old. Another person said like not worth my time. And now that I run a business in that area, I understand why they may be thinking these things. Like my customer avatar is not someone that's had a dog for 10 years and now that's finally deciding that they want help. Like, why didn't you get help over the last 10 years? Right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of not my customer avatar. But we finally found someone that was like, hey, I'm going to help you. I'm going to come out, do an evaluation. And we were mind blown, right? Our dog is like trying to bite him in the first 2 minutes he walked in the door. By the end of the hour-long session, he's taking food from him. He's walking next to him in a perfect heel. It was just like a complete 180
in
in 1 hour. In an hour. And we're like, dude, sign us up. Till he drops the price. Okay, it's like $1,800 for 5 1-hour sessions. Okay, and at the time, on $1,800, I was like, this isn't my dog. So Michelle, she got her tax money back like 2 weeks later. She paid for it, and it was life-changing. I couldn't believe it. Like the results were so unbelievable. I found myself back home. Whenever I go home to visit New York, I find myself helping friends and family with their dogs without even realizing, holy crap, everybody has a pain in the ass dog. Like everybody's dealing with these issues. No one has a perfect dog. Everybody has something that they can improve with their relationship with their dog. And I had been toying around with the idea for about a year or two, over a year, maybe 2 years, about switching my niche. But I was so comfortable in my Cairo and all that.
Yeah.
I was making good money. And the trainer that I wanted to work with, okay, stay with me here. It's going to come around full circle. So I asked him, I said, hey, can I do your marketing? I'm really good at this. I'd love to help you. He says, honestly, I'm so busy with word of mouth. I don't need it. Okay. This is like 2018. So I move on from him. I'm in a high-rise apartment downtown Charlotte. A year and a half goes by. And there's an event going on at my building with a dog training company coming in, and they're doing like a meet and greet, like wine and dine us, come bring your dog. We'll kind of show you how a real dog should be. And by the end of this wine and dine, I go up to the owners. I'm like, hey, how many leads you guys get tonight? They're like, none. It's like, okay, so how long did it So you invested 2 hours. How much did you spend on like the beer and the wine, the big, family style sandwiches and like all this food and all this stuff? Like, oh, you spent about $500. Okay, cool. She spent $500. You got nothing from it. I was like, dude, give me $500 on Facebook ads. Let me see what I can do for you. I turned it into 10 grand
Oh,
for this
wow.
guy in 30 days.
That's awesome.
Now I have a dog training client. That's when I decided, you know what? I'm going to go all in on this. I've been thinking about this for almost 2 years, and I can write the copy because I'm literally the person that I'm writing to. Like the embarrassment, the frustration, all the things that I was going through when I was the dog owner.
Yeah.
Like this is going to be easy for me. So now we have over 100 clients. I fully rebranded the agency, and this happened March of 2020. Okay, so I'm about to rebrand. I start firing my old clients. I'm like, if I'm going to go all in, I'm going all in.
Yeah.
I don't want to focus on anything else. I hired a business coach, Mike Barron, who you've interviewed on
All
here.
right. Yeah, Mike's been on the show.
So I hired Mike because I've worked with Billie Jean. I've worked with a lot of these gurus, and no one ever gives you everything. They always like give you a little bit, and they want you to buy into the next inner circle and then buy into this. Mike's guy was like, look, we won't hold anything back. Literally everything that we've done to get to a 7-figure agency, we will give you everything, agreements, whatever it is. So it's like, you know what? I'm sold. I'm in. Let's do it. So I signed a contract with Mike, Inner Circle. Freaking world shuts down 2 days later. I'm like, oh my God. I fired my old clients. I'm about to rebrand and go all in a brand new niche. And now I've got this massive coaching bill to pay. And I can't, like, I have no income. So now I'm like, I'm freaking out. I literally put my back against the wall before the pandemic, and then world shuts down.
Yeah.
So at that point, I just stuck to, look, if there's no plan B, plan A has to work. Forget plan B, and let's go all in. And then 2020, we had a great year. I think we did 3x my old business, and then 2021 finally got my 2 comma club right at the end of 2021 from this little USB funnel here. And then the second one was what did I give away for the second funnel? I forgot what the second one was.
So you were running Facebook ads to dog trainers to get that little dog USB.
Yep.
Why did you do the USB? Nobody does USBs anymore.
Right. But then I thought back to what got me in this space. Billie Jean marketing got me with a USB, right? And he got me. And then that's how I got into the agency world. And like, it was such a little tiny thing, but it was the idea of like this tangible product, right? I thought about myself, like, I hate ebooks. I need to have the physical book in front of me. Like, that's just the kind of person I am.
Yeah.
I started thinking about,
I like that. I like
right,
books. Yeah.
right. And I have like a digital whiteboard I spent all this money on, and I still use my erasable whiteboard more. Like, for some reason, I'm like very old school. And I started thinking about my niche and my audience. My audience is very old school. They don't know how to use technology, right? They like the physical aspect of it, to be able to hold this and put it into their computer rather than like having to go download a file and remember where they put it.
Yeah.
Just have this. So I kind of just thought about my audience more than anything. And it worked for my audience. My audience wanted it, and they would like get excited about getting it in the mail and plugging it in and getting, the free PDF or guide or trainings or whatever was on it. It was just, one of the biggest things that Russell talks about is like, stop making decisions based on what you think will work, and put yourself in your customer's shoes. Every decision you should make for your business should literally be from the perspective of your customer avatar. That's it. Yeah.
So when you hit the $1 million, did you have a celebration? Did you have a party?
Yes. So I didn't have a party, but what I did was I fulfilled one of my childhood dreams, which was getting courtside seats to an NBA game.
Oh, right. Okay.
They were about 4,000 each. So I did that, and I actually went to the Super Bowl with Mike Barron.
Oh, did
I'm a
you?
huge die-hard Rams fan, and like everything fell into place. Like it was just a crazy year last year. But we went, and Mike is like a baller, so he bought like a whole row of seats for like $150,000. And I went with my girlfriend, him, his wife, a couple members of his team. So I think, yeah, that's how we celebrated
Oh,
bringing
that's
in
awesome.
the end of the year.
So you were running the ads and then they were paying for the shipping for the USB.
Mhm.
Were you profitable then, or did you have to wait for them to upsell? Were
I
they,
wasn't.
was it
Sorry.
like self-liquidating or not?
No, definitely not. The bump was like $49. It was a training on how to use the things that they're going to get inside of the USB. And then there was one more like membership course that I sold for 300 on the next page on the OTO. And then yeah, that was it. It was a short funnel,
All right.
but at the end of the day, it was just to get high quality leads.
Yeah.
So what Mike helped me do, right? Everyone is going into high ticket sales closing now. Like
Yeah.
all these people like Dan Henry and all. So Mike has been doing this for years, right? He used to work at Grant Cardone's office. I used to work on Wall Street. So we have a sales background before we got into marketing. So for me, it was like what he was helping remind me of was how important that sales aspect is, not just the marketing. And this is something that I started to add to my programs for my clients, which helped my retention, right? So I read somewhere that the average like retention for marketing agencies like 90 days.
Yeah.
Ours is almost 2 years.
All right.
It's
Okay.
stupid. And it's because we teach them sales at a high level, right? Because otherwise, we're going to have the same problem that every other marketing agency has. Our compliance complain about quality of leads. It's never the quality of the lead. It's always the client's ability to close deals and have an understanding of sales. They never do it. None of them ever do professional sales training. They outsource marketing to us. They have a great product or service, and then they expect the sales to just be there for them to be sold before they get to, the close. But
Yeah.
anyways, so um, we schedule a strategy call on the back end, and we do a demo. And what I hate from a marketing perspective, I hate the word proposal, right? I don't send proposals out. I think it's bullshit. 1 out of 5 people will ever come back with that proposal. I'm hard closing every single person on the demo.
Okay. What are you demoing?
Demoing our funnels that we provide for dog trainers
All
and
right.
pet
Okay.
businesses. So we create funnels for them as a marketing agency. So Unleashed, we run that, and then we have a backend CRM so that we can see where all the leads are going, and we can move the leads, and then we can get a good understanding of their ROI that they're generating.
Right. Okay. So you're doing their full marketing. So how are you teaching them to close the leads? Do they do that themselves or do you help them with that?
So they do it. They do it themselves. So let's say they have a phone person, like an admin or someone over the phone. So the biggest mistake that I see, and this isn't just this industry, this is like 95% of small businesses. Like if I was talking to Anissa Holmes about this, right? She's a category king for the dental space, delivering wow, right? We were talking about this at Funnel Hacking Live. And so if I'm running lead gen for a dental business, why is the lead being contacted by a secretary? Right? Think about that secretary's resume. Why were they hired?
Yeah.
Customer service. But the lead is not a customer, they're a lead. Your secretary, your admin should only be speaking with customer service situations.
Yeah.
But how come there's no salesperson in a dental office or a chiro office or a landscaping business or here? Why don't they have a salesperson answering phone calls for leads? Should literally have someone that says, a receptionist, hey, tell me what's going on. Like, what's the reason for the call? I'm interested in services. Awesome. Hold, I'm going to get you to somebody. Boom. Talking to a salesperson. But it doesn't exist for some reason. And it's such a huge mistake for these businesses, and they're just missing out on so much because you have to have someone that has taken professional sales training, and that's literally their craft and their art and their skill set. So I was talking to Anissa about that, and she was like, holy crap, you're so right. Like, why are we sending leads to customer service people? They're not customers yet. So to get back to my story here, I train those people now. So they come, my sales manager every Thursday holds a training. They can bring calls that were recorded. We role play, we go over specific topics. We have like a boot camp, right? And
Oh,
it,
right,
and it
okay.
rolls every 6 weeks. So every 6 weeks, we start back to the bottom. We go back to like communication, understanding what communication is, certainty, tonality, um, understanding, right? People were on these calls to get a problem solved. We had to break limiting beliefs. Hey, like you're not a used car salesman. You are here to solve a problem. You need to start thinking like a consultant and not a salesperson,
Cool. So that's
right?
cool. So that's how you're keeping your clients longer than 90 days.
Right. So they send me their salespeople and we train them.
Okay.
And it's just part of the program. It's just a part of what we do.
Awesome. Right, we're going to do a little bit of a rewind now, and we're going to take you back to childhood.
Let's do it.
What was your childhood like?
So I'm a first generation born American here. My family, my mother's from Ecuador. My father was from Puerto Rico. I grew up single mom, food stamps, very poor. My grandparents raised me. My mother had me when she was 18. And, it's crazy when I tell people the story, they're like, no way, like you're supposed to be a statistic. You're not supposed to be having the level of success that you have. And I don't even think about it. And it's crazy because I just think like the life that I had going to flea markets at 5, 6, 7 years old, helping my family sell things. We used to go down to the city on the weekends during the cold winter months, and I'd be in a van, like a freaking utility van with no back seats, like a 6-year-old kid, just laying down there like this, hour-long trips to the city, buying merchandise, like hoping the merchandise doesn't fall on me on the box. I used to have like it used to be a game, like how can I maneuver these boxes in the back? Like I had no seatbelt on, like I'm definitely dying if we crash. But my weekends were not playing soccer or like hanging out with kids my age. They were going to flea markets. I would sell Pokemon cards at 10
All
years old.
right, okay.
And I'd have my own little table set up next to my grandparents' merchandise. And my uncles would be there. They're a little bit older than me, kind of like my brothers. I'm closer in age to my uncles because my mother had me so young
Right.
than I am to my actual siblings. So that was my life. And I enjoyed it because I didn't know any better. I was so
Yeah.
young. Like I didn't have to like pity myself or like, hey, that's what life was.
And what was the dream? What did you want to be when you grew up?
I love basketball. Still to this day, like, during the week I'll be at, I have season tickets now. I wanted to be a basketball star. I was very competitive. I lived in a very competitive household. My siblings played Division I soccer. My sister still plays for Sacred Hearts. So very competitive, sports oriented family. So growing up, it was always to be a star NBA player.
All right, okay.
That was the dream.
And did you go to college?
I did. I actually graduated from Coastal Carolina University down in the Myrtle Beach, South Carolina area. Finance degree, portfolio management. I was fat. It was like I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Everyone's like, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" Right? Like as if you have to have a job versus what do you want to create when you grow up? Right? It's
Yeah.
just like it's that mentality that I love my family. I love my upbringing. I'm very grateful to be able to do the things that I'm able to do because they work so hard. But you know, that's a different conversation. I fell in love with the idea of my money making money. I took a stock class my senior year of high school. I was like mind blown with the idea of being able to invest money and have it grow. So I
All
got a
right, okay.
portfolio management background, and I went on to work on Wall Street.
So
And
how did that happen? So you graduated from college. How did you get to Wall Street?
I had a friend that worked at a firm. A friend from high school had worked for a firm down in on Wall Street, and it just wasn't as glamorous as I had imagined.
So
And at the
did you
time,
move? So
actually,
did you move there then? So I'm not that familiar where you lived then to where Wall Street is. How far away was that?
so I actually moved back in with my parents. I went down to Miami for a year, just pissed off and as a 23-year-old kid, and it's just kind of silly and girls and waited tables, bartended, and was a little crazy. And I moved back to New York to kind of find myself again and just kind of reel in and go back to just finding my purpose. So I moved back in with my parents until I could find my own place. And it's about an hour and a half north of New York City, right? But
All
if you
right.
take the train, it's an hour and 45. Okay. So I would wake up around 5 a.m., 4:30 in the morning, drive to the train station. Okay. I was so poor. I like made a fake parking pass. I just looked at the ones that were on the other people's things. I made a fake parking pass. I made a fake train pass, monthly train pass.
How did you make a fake train pass?
I found one. I bought one month, and then I would just use, Microsoft Paint and Word and all that. And I would just make a fake train pass, and you flash it quickly, right? You pretend like you're sleeping, and you just quickly flash it, so they don't really look at it too hard. I did have to pay for the MTA, like the subway. You couldn't fake that, right? You need like the barcode and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I was really, really poor, and I remember getting paid shit money here. But I took the train down, so it was 15 minutes to there, hour 45 to Grand Central, another 45 minutes from Grand Central to Wall Street on the 456. So it took 2 hours and 45 minutes one way,
Whoa.
2 hours and 45 minutes the other way. I get home, my mom would have food like in the microwave for me. I'd eat it, go back to bed, wake up in the morning, shower, go back. It was probably the most depressed I've ever been in my life.
So what were you actually doing there?
At first, I was in sales. I was cold calling. I had a phone here, and I had a list, and I had to do $500 a day. And I would dial both phones, and first person to pick up, I'd hang up and I'd pitch, and I had a script.
All right. Okay. So what were you pitching then?
Whatever stock we were trying to promote at the time.
All right.
Buy
Okay.
stocks, whatever it was, retail, e-com, whatever we had in our portfolio that we were trying to grow. And this is like right after the market was crashed, like 2013. So the market's starting to come back alive. And it was a difficult time because I'm like, a recent graduate, and I'm competing against all these people because I had a job set up apparently in like investment banking. And I came in at a time where all the people that lost their jobs in 2008, 2009, I'm competing against them. So
Right.
there was like no way for me to get into that part of the financial world, which at the end of the day, I'm grateful for, because the sales training that I got was just like, it was amazing. And it really helped propel where I am today.
Right. Okay. So did they give you, before they put you on the phones, did they give you training, or did
No,
they?
it was sink or swim.
That's what I was going to say. You put you on
Uh,
the phones and you learn as you go.
my first day, my boss goes, I don't know if we're allowed to say explicitive things on here, but he was just like, you're a little, this and that. He's like, there's no way you're going to survive a day on Wall Street. You're from upstate New York. He's like, the only reason I gave you a job is because I like so-and-so. Like every time a
Oh, wow.
phone, it was like really hard boiler room selling. Every time someone answered, Louie, stick your damn chest out, stand up. He'd make me stand up, stick my chest out, take the call, like had the script. No, your tone sucks. Go slower. Like just yelling in the background. That's how it was. But honestly, so grateful for it, because you need thick skin, and most salespeople drop out
Yeah.
because you can't take the rejection. I wanted to prove this guy wrong so bad, right? And this is my competitive background in sports and that upbringing with my family. I wanted to beat him so bad that I did whatever it take, and I would stay, and I would just dial, and I'd stay late, and I just wanted to prove him wrong. So it worked
How
for me.
many people were doing that with you? Were you in a room of how many people?
Yeah, a room of 20, 25 other brokers.
And was he shouting at all of them?
He was, yeah, some more or less, right? The new guys, yes, not the older guys that are making him money, right? He's a little easier on them, but the new guys like me that were studying to take their Series 7, yeah, he was coming at us pretty hard.
So how long did that last?
Didn't last too long. So the reason why it didn't last too long was because I tore my ACL playing basketball. And so this 3-hour commute was almost impossible on crutches and a boot. And
All right.
when I got surgery, I had to learn how to walk again.
Oh, wow.
So are you familiar with ACL surgery?
No.
Okay. So literally for 2 weeks, before surgery, I couldn't, I'm sorry, post surgery, you're doing very small things to try to keep your muscles going. But your first week, you can't really move. You're just on painkillers laying on a couch. So my leg shriveled up. And if you ever like ask somebody to see their legs, like you'll see the disproportionate from the one that they had surgery on, because you have to build back all the muscles that you're losing during this 1 to 2 week period. Literally, your leg shrivels up
Oh,
from not
right.
using it. So I couldn't walk and I couldn't commute down there. So I was finished with that job. When I could walk again after a couple months, I was able to pick up a recruitment consultant for a company out of London
All right. Okay.
called S3. And that took my sales consulting to the next level for sure.
Did they give you training?
Yes. It's a little bit more professional.
So what were you doing for them on the phones?
On the phones, headhunter for pharma companies, Pfizer, AstraZeneca, some big time firms, spoke with some big time players, learned a lot about consulting, a lot of, just a whole different approach to sales than the boiler room scripted version. It was like
All
a
right.
completely different, the opposite end of the spectrum.
Okay. And how long did you do that for?
I was there for a couple years before I went out and did my own thing.
All right. Okay. And what happened to make you want to go do your own thing?
Um, I think it always came back to that like that entrepreneurial genetic that I had from those flea markets. I wanted to just be the guy. I wanted to run things my way. I thought that there was things that could always be improved, but there was always, that bureaucratic kind of corporate environment where your ideas really don't move up the board too quickly. And I saw a huge um lapse in like the technology that they were using. And that's when I started to do my own thing on the side. Got really good results, and then I got sued.
Okay. So what did you do on the side?
I started my own recruiting firm on the side.
Oh, right. Okay.
So I've never told anybody this publicly, Polly. This is the first time.
Ooh, exclusive.
Exclusive. But you know what? I'm so comfortable now that I don't even care.
So what we
I
so
got
what
sued.
we
I got sued for $100,000, and I was
did
24
you?
years old. 24 years old. I had no money. It took everything from me.
So they successfully sued you, did they?
Well, we went into we didn't actually make it to court. We just settled.
All right. Okay. So were you taking their leads then for yourself?
Um, Not so much taking the leads, but finding the clients. I'm so sorry. Oops. Thought I took that off. So the clients, we were really like like high end. We
All
were
right.
charging a lot for our services.
Yep.
So anyone that couldn't afford us, I would go work with on the side.
All right. Okay.
I had the access to the information because I worked there. Right. So if my boss would say, "Hey, Lou, we're not working with them, they can't afford us," I'd call them on the side and be like, "Hey," I'd actually have a friend of mine call them, reach out to them, and kind of run the business through him.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
So how did they find out about that then?
They were looking into a friend of mine who was planning on quitting, and he was taking some stuff from the company just to prove, like, with receipts, kind of. He was taking just in case they didn't pay him all the money they owed him.
All right.
He got flagged, and with him being flagged, they looked into all of his stuff, and I had an email that got flagged through him. One little email like that I'm
Oh.
pretty much leaving, and then they started looking into me, and it was pretty unlucky. But
So how did you pay it then? Did you have that kind of
um,
money to pay it?
so I had a deal that they took, and permanent recruiting is a lucrative industry if you can deal with the stress of it and the ups and downs and like the sleaziness of it. There's a lot of money in it. So I did do a deal that helped me, but I had to go back to waiting tables because I was kind of blackballed from the industry. If anyone did a background check on me, they could see my public case out there.
Right.
So
Okay.
I couldn't really go somewhere else at the time until everything was settled. It wasn't criminal, it was all civil.
Yeah.
But I went back to waiting tables. Why did I do that? Because I wanted to continue building businesses. I didn't want to be deterred. This was a pretty crazy thing that happened like to a 24-year-old kid. It was really fucking stressful. I remember waking up, clumps of my hair like coming out, and just it was crazy. I was really, really afraid that there was something criminal that was going to come from it, but it wasn't that serious. They just wanted to make an example of me and make
Right.
sure no one else was competing on the side. So I ended up waiting tables for something that I did all through college, all through high school. And the last time that I ever stopped waiting a table was probably 2017 when the agency took off.
Okay, so
So
how did you go then? How did you go into the agency space? What happened? Were you searching online for something? How did that come about?
I got hit with a Billie Jean's marketing ad. Here's how to make money on the internet from your home. I'm like, okay, click, and he got me. And
I do love Billie Jean.
I think what was funny? It was the irony. It was the Wolf of Wall Street ad that he did. So I was like, wow, this is too freaking crazy to not look into. Like perfect targeting and ad and everything. So I ended up going with it and doing his School of Genius and building my business while I waited tables at night.
All right, okay. So Billy's course, was that to build an agency?
Yes.
An ad agency? Was it his
Ad
ad?
agency.
Ad
And I
agency.
sat on it for like a year and just did not take action like most of us. All right, just is my logo perfect? Is my website perfect? Oh, this and that, just kind of making excuses. I don't know. I don't know if it was imposter syndrome that I'm an ads expert that I just took a course, but for whatever reason, it took me forever to finally launch it.
And what gave you that kick up the backside to actually launch?
So my cousin is a chiropractor in New York, and I tested ads on him. I paid for the budget and said, hey, let me just try this. And it worked. And I was like, holy crap. I couldn't believe it. Found this guy on the internet, says, I can help you make money and let me show you how to help other people make money. And it actually worked. And that's when I was like, wow, like this is pretty incredible.
Okay, so did he become your client then? Did you start charging him?
I started charging him. We started working together, and I was in Charlotte. So I kind of grew up my market in the Southeast. But yeah, that's where it all started, chiropractor.
Oh,
Dr.
okay.
Patrick Del Salto.
So so that one works. Then did you get another chiropractor client then?
Yeah, so I ended up at my peak of Kingsley Media. I had 12 to 14, I want to say, at one time, paying me a retainer. It's just myself and like a virtual assistant.
So how did you find those clients?
Old school. What I've been doing this whole time, cold calling. I cold call centered it. And I for some reason I had like this fear of spending my own money on ads. It's like I'm running it for other people, but does it work B2B? Like, yes, it works B2C, it runs great, but what about B2B? It wasn't until Unleash Consulting with the dog training stuff that I actually put my own budget behind my business.
All
And
right, okay.
that's where I got my two Comma Club awards, was for my own stuff.
So going back to the beginning then with the dog, how many clients did you get rid of when you decided to go all in with the dogs?
12.
You got rid of all 12?
I kind of layered it so I wouldn't not be left with any money. I got rid of the difficult ones first, then the semi-difficult ones, and I kept the easy ones around for a little bit until I just had no time to focus on them. And I just gave them I found an agency friend that focused on Cairo, and kind of moved them over to him.
All right, okay. And were you doing funnels for them as well, or just ads?
Yeah, funnels.
Funnels,
Yeah,
you were doing a funnel and
funnels,
the ad.
follow-ups. Back then we were using like MailChimp and Active Campaign and like, the whole thing.
All right, okay. So the first two Comma Club you did with the USB.
Mm-hmm.
So the second one, what was that second one?
I think it was a PDF on how to do a Google Business Profile, like the Google My Business change,
All
how to
right.
be found, and then it upsells them into like a course. And then from there, my team is calling these highly qualified people that are spending money already before they speak with us. And then our goal, we don't really make money on that stuff. It's all in the high ticket sales. Like we get these guys in a demo, we're closing them on an annual like $25,000 deal.
So the second two comma club, is it the same target market as the first one?
Yes, same target market, just different funnel.
All right, okay. If you think back over your journey, has there been a time where you thought about in your entrepreneurial journey? So has there been a time when you thought about quitting, going back and getting a job?
Absolutely. I mean, getting sued, and that was a point in my life where I just didn't know what to do. And I mean that this the in the dog training world, after I got the 2 Comma Club award, I had a lot of things go south with the business, and I had a couple bad months, really, really, really bad months, that really pushed us back a lot. And just having to work through some of those things. This is my first time owning a multi-million-dollar business. I still think I'm pretty fairly young, and I'm still learning and growing. But yeah, there's always seeds of doubt that I've had. But I think every day I feel more confident overcoming these things, networking with more people, meeting more people that have already been there and done it, and just constantly being a sponge and just learning how to navigate some of these things is so important to push some of that fear back.
Yeah. So with Mike, so when you joined up with Mike, was that like a set period of time, or are you still working with Mike?
I still work with Mike. I still work with him. He is continuing to grow. The amount of things that he's built in the last 2 years has just been extraordinary. And even though he's doing something different than when we first hooked up, I get so much more knowledge from him. So Mike has become like a big brother to me. He'll actually be here next week. And I'm at the point now where like my inner circle is over, and we still stay in communication. We're still friends, and we still find ways to work with each other and partner with each other. So yeah, so we're still in communication. We're still working together in some capacity. He wants to come into the dog training thing. Oh, here's
because he's got a background in dogs.
Yeah, he used to breed
Yeah.
always back in the day. So this is actually kind of cool. So Mike is he's a big personality, right? If you go look at his Instagram, he's got all these Lambos,
Yeah,
the Rollies and Gucci and all that. But what comes with that, especially when you live out in California and LA and San Diego, there's like a lot of people that want to come up on you, right? And there's a lot of home invasions and people getting robbed, and unfortunately, a lot of stuff like that is happening right now. So Mike's got a 1-year-old daughter, 10-year-old daughter's wife, and lives in a nice house. And because he flexes so much on the internet, we got him a protection dog. So we got a little Malinois. He spent $50,000 on a Malinois that we're raising, and we'll have him in a
he told me about that. Funnel Hacking Live. He said he'd bought a protection dog and it was being trained somewhere
by us. Yeah.
Aha!
So now so my business partner, so I'm the marketing and sales guy and the ops guy, and I partnered up with Chris Palmerton, who was, out of all my clients, I thought he was the best dog trainer, right? I saw he has a protection dog. He trained a couple protection dogs. And so Chris, like, love him to death, doesn't have the business background, did not know how to get his name out there. So he's the guy who I run my facility with here in Charlotte, who we're about to get our next 2 Comma Club award from this business that's thriving. And I mean, we're doing more business than people that have been in the game for 20 years. We just opened this business up in April.
So so you take people's dogs and look after and train them to be, is it just protection dogs?
So we train pet dogs. Then we have a small network of high net worth individuals. I met a few at Funnel Hacking Live, where we will actually go out, source a dog for their needs, right? There's a couple other 2 Comma Club people that I won't say their names now. Obviously Mike and me have a different relationship, but I'll ask them for permission, and you've interviewed a few of them.
All right, okay.
Helping them with their dogs. And so what they will do is they'll put a deposit down. We'll go out and find the dog that they want, whether it's a Malinois or a Shepherd or a Rottweiler or a Doberman. We get them as young puppies. We understand their situation. Like, Do you guys have a private jet? Do you guys have a yacht? Like, what's your lifestyle like? How do we have to train this dog in different situations to be not only a protection dog that will attack on command, but like I told you, Mike has 2 young children. The dog also has to have an off switch. And if that baby comes up and starts pulling its ears and goes near its food, that dog cannot bite, the hand that feeds it, someone in its family, right? So we train a dog to be extremely aggressive, but then we have to train it to also have an off switch. So it's very difficult. We're very selective in the litter on which dogs we take, right? Only one dog out of that litter is probably capable of doing this. And it takes about a year to train the dog to be able to do both. Then it's maintenance after that point to come out quarterly to maintain the training, the obedience, and also the bite work and the protection side of things.
Wow, that's really interesting, because I always think with dogs, the person who trains it is usually the one it only listens to.
Right, and that's why, well, that's why we're special, is because we don't train dogs that way. Right. But yes, your handler at that level for that amount of money that they're spending, we need them to be involved. So Mike will be out here next week. He'll probably come out another couple months, be able to work the dog. The biggest thing is, like, so we have to teach the dog to bite. So there has to be a decoy, someone that's in one of these suits getting bit.
Oh,
The
God.
owner will never be in that. Right.
Wow.
That's where you kind of separate the two.
Okay. So, do you have a morning routine in your entrepreneurial life that you do daily?
I have tried, but I don't. No, I follow the Alex Hormozy morning routine, which is get up and work. I get up, I drink coffee. I guess more so with my dogs, right? I get up, I walk them. They have more of a routine than I do. They run in, they sprint in, they run to their place cot, and I make my coffee, check check email, whatever, and then they're waiting to be fed, waiting patiently. But then that's it. I just go to work.
Yeah.
Just try to figure
And
out what I have to do.
how big is your team now?
So Unleash is a team of 20-ish. I would say 10 full-time, 10 to 15 contractors. Obedient Canine is a team of 7. Obedient Canine is what I've really been focusing on recently. Coming in there, creating the systems and processes, because now that I have this influence in this space and I've become the guy, right? There were smaller guys in this space before I came, but now I am the go-to expert in this space. We do $1 million a month in ad spend in this space. No one even comes close to the amount of volume we do. But now I've actually created the business myself and started the dog training business, and I'm already more successful than 95% of my clients. So now when I come in and I make a recommendation, it's like, yes, let's do it. We're done. And so now we got to the point where I'm taking equity. So I have my first 2 equity partners. He's coming tomorrow, actually, one of them owns a dog training facility up in Detroit. I'm taking a percentage of the company now and putting my systems and processes and my salespeople in, and now I own a percentage of his company. I have another guy in Pittsburgh that we just came to an agreement with. I own a percentage of his company. So now I'm going to be owning more businesses rather than just doing their marketing and training them. I have way more influence over their processes because I've done it really, really fast in a short period of time.
Yeah. Cool. That's really good. So what's the main focus for the next 12 months?
That's the main focus, mergers and acquisitions. That is it. Just acquiring as many of these businesses as I can all over the country, and just helping them reach their potential.
And how are you finding them now? Are you running ads for them, or are you still going old school?
So right now, I already have the clientele. So now what I do is, you come spend a day with me, shadow me, $5,000, get a couple of them to come in, blow their minds, and then just say, I want a piece of your business. Are you interested based on what you saw today? Yeah, let's roll. And that's really, the proof is in the pudding. Like I've gotten to a point now where I don't mind showing them everything. I'll show them I'll put my whole, all my cards on the table, just because what we've built is just so freaking extraordinary. And I have such an amazing team of people that are committed to this vision, right? Everyone talks about being self-made. I'm not self-made, right? Because I have an amazing team behind me. Even though I have come from nothing, I wouldn't have been able to do it at the speed that I've been able to do it without my director, Jana. I I got my girlfriend, Michelle, closing over the phone. She closed $15,000 in dog training in the last 2 weeks. I mean, it's just incredible. Like just the people that I've been surrounded with that have been very supportive of me, but just so willing to just follow my lead and just allow me to take them to where we're going to go. It's just been amazing.
Awesome. So do you think working with Mike has propelled you a lot faster than if you hadn't have had him?
1000%. I mean, he just changed a lot of the mental shifts that I had to make on how to run the business. For example, stop worrying about fulfillment, spending all my time in fulfillment, put all your time into sales, worry about the fulfillment later. Hire people with all the money that you're making on sales to turn around and fulfill it for you. That was one of the biggest shifts. Bringing sales into my program, teaching my clients how to close so that I can have a higher retention rate. Just little things like that. But then all the back end stuff, how to do it, how to run teams, how to become a leader, how to get teams excited, how to properly track things, how to properly make decisions as an executive. I mean, I can't thank him enough. And he knows this. Like I would have gotten there, but I wouldn't have gotten there as fast.
Yeah.
No chance. So that's one of the things I tell people. When I tell them how much I invested into that, people thought I was crazy. My girlfriend included, my parents, you're nuts. What are you spending all this money? 50 grand into an inner circle? Like, what the hell is that? That I, 10x that in the first 6 months. So like investing into a mentor and coach is one of the best things you can do.
Awesome. Okay, I have one last question for you.
Shoot it.
If you're going to be an animal for 24 hours, what would you be and why?
24 hours. Well, I just got back from vacation because I would normally say like a lion. Everybody thinks lions are like, these ferocious king of the jungle, but they love to sleep. They sleep like 20 hours out of the day and they just chill and they just look really, really good rather than being those ferocious. They look scary. So like I like to sleep and take my naps and like eat and chill. Yeah, that's not the answer you're looking for. But that's what I would typically say. But now that I'm back from vacation and I'm like ready to roll, that's a tough one. I would just say like maybe a wolf, right? Because I can go out there, I can hunt, and I can still be a pack leader because I love my team. I love the camaraderie that we've built, and I love just being in there with them and building with them, not just, having everybody do what they're supposed to do, but just being hands-on, being with them, being a leader of the pack, guiding them, and crushing results for our clients. It's super fun. And so, yeah, a wolf.
Awesome.
My dogs are looking at me like, what the hell? This is one of my girls. This is Pepper. She looks like a wolf. Like a coyote.
So thank you so much for taking time out of your day to chat with me. It's been absolutely awesome to find out your story. If anybody's interested in finding out more about you, where can they go online to find that out?
Well, you know what? We should work on that Instagram. So Louie Torres, TORRES.co on Instagram. Feel free to shoot me a message there. Unleashconsulting.com if you're a dog trainer and looking to grow your business. Or if you have a problematic dog and you want training, we do virtual training too. So anywhere that you are, if you want an awesome dog, then you can go to obedientcanineclt.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Louie.
Thank you, Paula. Thanks for having me. Appreciate you.
Thank you for listening. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please take a moment to leave us a 5-star review and subscribe to the podcast on your podcast software. It really helps us rank the podcast and get more listeners. And if you're over on YouTube, please subscribe and hit the bell. Every Friday, 8 a.m. GMT, we release a brand new episode. And until then, have a good one.